My name is Harmony Chin, and I built TechBridge Solutions from the ground up with my business partner, Marcus Webb. We started in my garage 5 years ago, and now we're worth $12 million. At least, that's what I thought, until Sophie, a waitress at Bella's Bistro, changed everything. I just finished a solo lunch meeting when I headed for the exit. The restaurant was empty, that weird 2 p.m. lull. I reached for the door handle, but Sophie rushed over and turned the deadbolt. "Sophie, what are you—" "Promise you won't pass out," she said, her hands shaking. "I need to tell you something about Marcus." My stomach dropped. What about Marcus? "He's been coming here twice a week for 8 months, always with the same 3 men. They look like criminals, Harmony. I've seen drug dealers before." "Marcus comes here for business lunches. I know he meets clients." "These aren't clients." Sophie pulled out her phone. "I started recording their conversations because something felt wrong. Listen." She pressed play. Marcus's voice filled the quiet restaurant. "The offshore accounts are set up. Harmony has no idea. She's too busy with actual work to notice I'm bleeding the company dry. By next quarter, I'll have moved $4 million. My legs went weak. Sophie grabbed my arm and guided me to a chair. "There's more. He's been meeting with money launderers. They're helping him hide assets through fake invoices, shell companies, falsified expense reports." "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I needed proof." "I've been documenting everything for 8 months. Dates, times, photographs, recordings. But I didn't know who you were until last week when you mentioned TechBridge. Then I realized you're his business partner. You're the one he's stealing from." "Does he know you've been recording him?" "No. He thinks I'm just a waitress, invisible. He tips well and treats me like furniture. Men like him never think service workers are paying attention." I pulled out my phone. "I need to call the police." "Wait. I already contacted them. Detective Walsh is coming here in 20 minutes. I wanted to tell you first." 20 minutes. Marcus and I have a board meeting at 4. We're presenting quarterly financials. Those financials are lies. I heard him bragging about cooking the books. Phantom projects, fake contractor payments, inflated expenses. The door rattled. A middle-aged woman in a detective's badge appeared. Sophie unlocked it. "Ms. Chen, I'm Detective Rebecca Walsh," she said, extending her hand. "Sophie's been working with us for 6 weeks building a case against Marcus Webb for wire fraud, embezzlement, and money laundering." 6 weeks? I looked at Sophie. "I recorded for 2 months, then went to the police. They've been investigating since." Detective Walsh sat across from me. "We need your cooperation. How much do you know about your company's actual financial state?" I thought I knew everything. "Marcus handles financial operations while I manage client relationships and project development. We review everything together monthly." "Can you access the real financial records?" "I have full administrative access. Bank accounts, invoices, contracts, payroll, everything." "Good. We need that access. Can you act normal around Marcus until we're ready to arrest him?" I clenched my fists. "When?" 72 hours. We need you to help us document his final moves. He's planning something big this week." The board meeting. He's going to get approval for a fake expansion project. A $2 million authorization. Detective Walsh leaned forward. "Can you stall that approval?" "I can question it. Request a deeper audit before we proceed." "Perfect. That'll panic him, make him sloppy. We'll be watching." 3 days later, I sat in my lawyer's office with evidence that would destroy Marcus's life. My attorney, David Park, had been reviewing documents for 6 hours. "This is the most comprehensive embezzlement scheme I've seen in 20 years, David said. "He's stolen $4.2 million over 3 years. Started small, but in the last 8 months, he's accelerated dramatically. Why the acceleration? Greed and confidence. He thinks he's untouchable. David pulled up a spreadsheet. Look at these shell companies: Tech Consult LLC, Bridge Solutions Inc., Web Tech Services, all registered to Marcus using variations of your company name. He creates fake invoices and transfers money to his offshore accounts. Sophie sat beside me. I recorded him explaining the whole system to those money launderers. He was bragging about how clever he was. The recordings are admissible, David confirmed. Detective Walsh coordinated with the FBI. Wire fraud crosses state lines, so this is federal now. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Board meeting moved up to tomorrow. Need to fast-track the expansion project. I showed David the text. He's panicking. I questioned the project last week. Don't approve anything. Make him sweat. I texted back. Can't approve that size without full audit. Company policy for amounts over $1 million. The response came immediately. This client won't wait. We'll lose the deal. What client? I typed. I've never seen the contract. My phone rang. Marcus. Harmony, what's going on? We can't afford to lose this contract. Then show me the real client. Show me communication, proposals, meetings. You've been handling this solo, and that's not how we operate. I've been protecting you from the grunt work. I don't need protection. I need transparency. If this is legitimate, documentation should be easy. You don't trust me? I don't trust anyone with $2 million company dollars without verification. That's business. He hung up. Sophie squeezed my hand. You were amazing. He's terrified. Detective Walsh called minutes later. He just booked a one-way flight to the Cayman Islands for tomorrow night. We're moving up the timeline. Can you get him to the office tomorrow morning? The board meeting is at 9. Perfect. We'll be there at 9:30. Get him talking. Keep him in the conference room. Absolutely. David pulled out a contract. I need you to sign this. I'm officially representing you and TechBridge in all criminal and civil proceedings against Marcus Webb. We'll pursue full restitution plus damages. I signed without hesitation. What happens to the company? You'll survive this. The board will see you as the victim who caught the fraud. Marcus will face 10 to 15 years in federal prison. Wire fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, tax evasion. The evidence is overwhelming. Sophie pulled up her recordings. I have 43 separate conversations. In 31, he explicitly discusses the embezzlement. He names specific accounts, dollar amounts, methods. He even jokes about how trusting you are. Rage burned in my chest. I trusted him because we were partners. No, David corrected gently. You built it. He robbed it. There's a difference. The board meeting started normally. Our 5 board members assembled in the conference room. Marcus arrived 10 minutes late, unusually flustered. Morning, everyone, I said cheerfully. Before we discuss new business, I need to address concerns about our financial records. Marcus's face went pale. Harmony, we agreed to discuss the expansion. I've discovered irregularities that require immediate attention. Board member Patricia Chen raised her eyebrows. What kind of irregularities? I projected a spreadsheet. These are payments to 3 companies, Tech Consult LLC, Bridge Solutions Inc., and Web Tech Services. We've paid them $4.2 million over 3 years. Can anyone tell me what services they provided? Silence. Marcus, you processed these payments. What did we receive? Those are contractor fees, specialized consultants for various projects. Really? Because I've contacted all 3 companies. They don't answer phones, have no websites, no employees, no offices. They exist only on paper. Paper that you filed. This is insulting, Marcus said, standing. Are you accusing me of something? I'm stating facts. You created shell companies and paid them with our money. Board member Robert Torres leaned forward. Marcus, do you have documentation? Contracts, work product, communication? Of course. It's all in the files. No, it isn't, I interrupted. These payments have fake invoices, but no supporting documentation. No emails, no project plans, no deliverables. The conference room door opened. Detective Walsh entered with 2 FBI agents and Sophie. Good morning. I'm Detective Walsh, and these are FBI Special Agents Morrison and Lee. Marcus Webb, you're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, and money laundering. This is insane. Harmony, tell them this is a misunderstanding. The only misunderstanding was mine, thinking you were my partner when you were just a thief. Agent Morrison approached Marcus. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Sophie? Marcus noticed the waitress. What are you doing here? Testifying against you. I've been recording your conversations at Bella's Bistro for months. Every meeting with your money launderers. Every discussion about embezzling from Harmony. The FBI has it all. Marcus lunged toward Sophie, but Agent Lee blocked him. Don't make this worse, Mr. Webb. You're a waitress. You have no right. I have every right to report criminal activity. You thought I was invisible, but I saw everything. Patricia addressed me. Harmony, did you know about this investigation? For 3 days. I've been cooperating fully to help build the case. The board will want a full accounting, but you clearly acted appropriately. You protected the company. Marcus was handcuffed now, his face red. Harmony, please. We can work this out. I'll return the money. We can tell them it was a misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. You stole $4.2 million. You created fake invoices, shell companies, and offshore accounts. You betrayed 5 years of partnership. I made you rich. TechBridge wouldn't exist without me. TechBridge exists despite you, not because of you. I created the vision, built the client relationships, developed the business model. You just handled paperwork and used that access to rob me blind. Agent Morrison guided Marcus toward the door. We need to go, Mr. Webb. Harmony. 5 years. Doesn't that mean anything? It meant something before you threw it away for money. Now it means nothing. You're a criminal, and you deserve whatever prison sentence you get. They let him out. The conference room sat in stunned silence. David Park entered. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm David Park, representing Ms. Chen and TechBridge Solutions. We'll be pursuing full civil restitution in addition to criminal prosecution. Patricia nodded slowly. Harmony, we're grateful you caught this. How do we move forward? I'll be taking over all financial operations immediately. I've contacted our accounting firm for a complete audit. We'll recover the stolen funds through asset seizure. Marcus bought a house, luxury cars, and jewelry with company money. It's all traceable. 2 weeks later, I sat in David's office with Sophie and Detective Walsh for the final settlement conference. The FBI had frozen all of Marcus's assets, and his defense attorney was negotiating to avoid additional charges. Marcus wants to make a statement, David said. He's hoping for leniency if he shows remorse. I don't care what he wants, I replied. Marcus's attorney, a tired-looking man named Gerald Stevens, entered with Marcus in an orange jumpsuit. Marcus looked haggard. his usual confidence completely gone. "Harmony," he began. "I know I messed up." "You didn't mess up," I interrupted. "Messing up is forgetting a meeting or miscalculating a budget. You committed calculated, systematic theft over 3 years. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I got greedy. I'm admitting that. But we were partners once. We built something together. Can't that count for something?" "It counted for everything until you decided money mattered more than integrity," I said. "Every time you created a fake invoice, every time you transferred funds to your shell companies, every time you lied to my face about our financials, you made a choice. You chose to betray me." Stevens cleared his throat. "Ms. Chen, my client is prepared to plead guilty to all charges in exchange for your agreement to support a reduced sentence. He's willing to return all assets and cooperate fully with restitution." "He'll return the assets because they're being seized anyway," David said dryly. "The FBI has already frozen everything. This isn't generosity. It's inevitability." Detective Walsh opened a folder. "Mr. Webb is facing 15 years on federal charges. The prosecution isn't interested in reduced sentences. The evidence is overwhelming, and the dollar amount ensures maximum penalties." Marcus's face crumpled. 15 years? Please, Harmony. I'm 43 years old. I'll be almost 60 when I get out. My life will be over. "You should have thought about that before stealing $4.2 million, I said without sympathy. "How long did you think you could get away with it?" "I don't know. I started small, and it was so easy. You trusted me completely. I had full access to everything. The temptation just kept growing." "So this is my fault for trusting my business partner?" "No, that's not what I meant. I'm saying I took advantage of your trust. That's on me. But we were friends once, before we were partners. Doesn't 15 years seem excessive?" Sophie, who'd been silent until now, leaned forward. "I watched you at that restaurant for months. You weren't conflicted or guilty. You bragged about stealing from Harmony. You laughed about how easy it was to fool her. You told those money launderers that she was too stupid to notice what you were doing." Marcus winced. "I was trying to impress them. By insulting the woman who made you a millionaire?" Sophie's voice rose. "Harmony gave you an opportunity, and you repaid her by stealing everything. You don't deserve leniency. You deserve every single year of that sentence." Walsh nodded. "The recordings are devastating, Mr. Webb. The jury will hear you, in your own words, describing the embezzlement scheme with pride. No judge will be sympathetic." "What do you want from me?" Marcus asked desperately. "I'll do anything." "I want you to face the consequences of your actions," I said firmly. "I want you to spend the next 15 years thinking about how greed destroyed your life. I want you to understand that stealing from someone who trusted you is unforgivable." David slid papers across the table. "These documents outline full restitution, $4.2 million plus interest and damages, totaling $5.8 million. Mr. Webb's assets, house, cars, jewelry, offshore accounts, will be liquidated to satisfy this debt. Additionally, he'll be barred from ever holding a corporate officer position again." Marcus signed with shaking hands. "I'm sorry, Harmony. I really am. I wish I could go back and make different choices." "Your apology means nothing to me," I said coldly. "Sorry doesn't return 3 years of stolen money. Sorry doesn't erase the betrayal. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. You made your choices. Now live with them." Stevens gathered the papers. "We'll submit the guilty plea tomorrow. Sentencing is scheduled for next month." After they left, Sophie hugged me. "You were incredible. You didn't give him an inch." "He didn't deserve an inch," I said. "He stole from me, lied to me, and mocked me behind my back. Why would I show him mercy he never showed me?" Detective Walsh shook my hand. "The FBI is grateful for your cooperation. This case will set a precedent for how we prosecute corporate embezzlement. You did everything right." David smiled. "The board officially voted yesterday. You're now sole CEO of TechBridge Solutions. They've increased your equity stake to compensate for Marcus's shares. You own 85% of the company now." "And the company's financial health?" "Strong. Once we liquidate Marcus's assets, you'll recover most of the stolen funds. Combined with your actual profits, TechBridge is valued at $14 million and growing. You're going to be just fine." Sophie squeezed my hand. "What's next for you?" "I'm implementing new financial controls, hiring a CFO I actually trust, and focusing on what I do best, building client relationships and growing the business. Marcus wanted to destroy TechBridge, but he only destroyed himself." Walsh closed her notebook. "He'll be sentenced in 4 weeks. Based on federal guidelines and the dollar amount involved, he's looking at 12 to 15 years minimum. With good behavior, maybe 10. "Good," I said simply. "Let him think about what he did for a decade." As we left David's office, Sophie asked, "How do you feel?" "Relieved, angry, vindicated. Marcus thought he was smarter than everyone, but his arrogance was his downfall. He underestimated a waitress, a detective, and his business partner. That's not intelligence, that's stupidity." "He definitely didn't see me coming," Sophie laughed. "Invisible waitress turned star witness." "You saved my company," I said seriously. "If you ever want to leave the restaurant business, I'll hire you at TechBridge in a heartbeat." "Maybe I will," Sophie said thoughtfully. "I've learned a lot about white-collar crime. Maybe I'll train as a forensic accountant. You'd be amazing at it." Walking to my car, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. Marcus was going to prison, my company was saved, and I'd learned valuable lessons about trust and oversight. I would never again give anyone unlimited access to my business without checks and balances. Justice wasn't revenge, it was accountability. Marcus faced legal consequences because he broke the law, not because I wanted to hurt him. That distinction mattered. I didn't need revenge because the system worked exactly as it should. Have you ever trusted someone in business only to discover they were stealing from you? How would you handle finding out your partner was embezzling millions? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.